At one point, that was the and
But it's got to be around 100,000.
anything above
100K,
that
something
begins
like
to
that.
give diminishing returns. And so if if you had a household million of 50 million, how is that much better than someone who may have a household income of 500,000? Or there's certainly a benefit, but it becomes incremental, right? There's a parallel is that I do audiophile stereo stuff, and so
Yeah, man.
there are folks who have systems that are worth $250,000.
Right.
That's not unusual for some folks.
And play that $12 CD.
Yeah,
Okay, I got you.
Well, you take that CD and you put it in there. What you get from the 250,000 may be better than what you get from a system that's $5,000,
Right.
but it's incrementally different. It's
Right.
the difference
You
just
can
becomes
notice
so
it.
subtle
Yeah.
that you may not be able to
You
notice
may not
very
in
much.
some cases,
Yeah,
right?
but so you're right, and the goal would be that. But there's the thing, because if all this money is, because one way to think about this, because there's some. I think Pinker talks about this, that there's a notion that a rising tide lifts all boats, and that even though there is this wage disparity, there's still, if you were going to be in poverty, you'd want to be in poverty in year 2025 more so than any other time in history, because all boats have still risen. So maybe that's true, maybe that's not.
Right.
But-
No, I think I understand where he's going with that. But one of the articles that we read is part of our today's discussion was that notion of how he thinks in very sort of in not a strict and sort of orderly fashion, that this takes
He is an Enlightenment thinker.
Yeah, he wrote Enlightenment Now, right? So one of the things is that this happens on the large scale, but it doesn't translate very well to you and me down in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
So-
the Newtonian physics I think that was sort of the thing. It was a physicist talking. He said that quantum physics, Newtonian physics, still works at a macro level,
Right.
but it doesn't work at the micro level.
Right.
And so how does it, that was interesting. Pinker has a way of like he believes in an objective truth that we can work toward, that
Right.
through the valence of science and all that sort of stuff, we can slowly but surely come on a truth that we can agree with. And so then that would end political fighting, for instance, right? Like if we could
well.
find an agreement that this is true.
I don't see that. I don't see that anytime in our near future. But I'm also thinking the same way. We just talked about the millionaires or the billionaires that are moving up to a certain point of financial wealth, but it doesn't increase any happiness anymore. So I don't know if we're going to capture this. So if you tell the billionaire, hey, you're good, you don't need any more, you can stop now, you can enjoy life a little bit better. No, they want more. So I'm not really sure how either one of those particular philosophies or ideology views of life translate. But the one person said, quantum. What does that really mean? If this sort of outlook is on the quantum, that sounds like things are moving and shifting in ways we don't really know why they're doing it. So
I think that, and maybe the way to sort of take away from that, and there's a sort of way it relates to psychology and therapy as well, is that there is something about the subjectivity that's always present. So the mere act of observation, the mere act of investment shifts and changes the things that you're thinking about, right?
right, famous study, Hawthorne effect back in the beginning.
So
of the-
if we were to talk to somebody who has $50 million, they may say something like, wait a minute, I worked very hard for this.